you are appearing in a class, I know some people are complaining there is no light, there is no this. But what we are doing here is practice makes perfect. Because so many of us in Nigeria, the plan is to work remotely. No company is going to allow you. You are not going to come and tell a company, I'm not putting my camera on because there is no light in Nigeria. The next thing, they will disconnect you. You won't even know why you lost the job or you lost the opportunity. So if you don't have to start practicing now, it's going to be difficult. Another thing here is to build confidence. So many of us find it difficult to face a crowd. Is some of the things you have to start building up. You have to build up. A project manager is a leadership role. And you are not leading yourself. You are going to lead people. You find yourself in a where you lead professors as a project manager. You lead PhD, you lead a team of medical doctors, team of engineers, team of lawyers, team of top government officials, and you are not going to lead them by hiding your face. You need to be able to be confident to face them, present your project, lead them, and effectively. So the only way to do that is by learning. Very soon, everybody will be presenting. When you have group, every group will be presenting. You come to talk about what you are doing. And when you do that once, twice, 3 times, you find out that you will be talking, you say, am I the person? You see the level of transformation. So let's go to today's lesson notes, and we take it from there. So, like I said, last week we stopped at project charter. I know by now all of us knows what project charter is all about, because while trying to answer the question is helping us to be grounded in the knowledge of project charter. So I'm not going to ask us what is project. We all know what about what. So now project charter is an authorization. It authorizes the project to start. And when the project starts, what next? Project brief. So what is this project brief? A project brief is a concise document that summarizes the essential detail of a project. It serves as a key communication tool, ensuring that all stakeholders have a shared understanding of the project goal, scopes, and deliverables. The project brief is often created early in the project life cycle to guide the planning and the execution of the project. So when the project charter is out, the next is project brief. Is a brief summary of what needs to be done. At times we see that the project brief, the project sponsor already have a project brief. That's in this way, making the job so easy for the project manager. At times, you find out that there is no project brief as a project manager, and you have to liaise with the stakeholders like the project sponsors or even the business analysts to craft a project brief. At times, the project brief will be a document handed over to you. It can be oral. where you sit with the project sponsor, and the project sponsor will talk you through about what they really want. So who is responsible for creating a project brief? The responsibility for creating a project brief typically falls to the project manager. So it's the project, you must make sure that you have a project brief. If they don't have it already, you must make sure that it's created. That will give you the details of what needs to be done. The project charter is a high-level document. You can't rely on project charter to start working on your breakdown structure. It's when you gather project brief, then that's when you proceed to work breakdown structure to start breaking them down before you start the project plan. So the project sponsor and the project manager, these are the people that have the responsibility, depending on the size of the project and the complexity. In some cases, it might be a collaborative effort involving other stakeholders such as business analysts or senior management. Business analyst plays a key role. They are the people that really look into the problem the company is facing and decide that, okay, to solve this problem, we need to create this solution to solve this problem. Most of the projects we are working on are solutions. We are creating solutions. One solution or the other solution, either digital, we already know about digital solution and non-digital solution. So the business analyst must have experience of the project coming up, because it's part of the people that works on deciding on worked on the feasibility studies, trying to understand the problem the company is facing and solutions. So, and make recommendation for the solution. Most of the time is after the business case. I don't want to go there because it's a bit complicated, and I don't want to start bringing the full details of business analysis here, so that we won't get much confused. But the point I'm making here is that business analysts have enough knowledge to help in, contributing towards the project brief. The project manager ensures that all relevant information is gathered, while the project sponsor ensure that it aligns with the strategic goals. So you see, the project brief is a very key document. It's very, very important we know how to do that, because if we don't have it, it's going to be difficult to kickstart a project without a project. This document will help you to gather your team members. If you are gathering your team members as a project manager to kickstart the project and you don't have a brief of what needs to be done, what are you going to tell them? What are you going to, so you must have a project brief. Some people call it project mandate. Whichever name is project brief. Please mute. Okay, let's look at step-by-steps on creating a good project brief. So with this step, you should be able to put up a project brief in collaboration with the key stakeholders. Define the project title. Choose a title that clearly reflects the project purpose. A title that clearly reflects the purpose of the project. Ensure it is concise and easily recognizable by the stakeholders. So you must have a title that is catchy, everybody can recognize, and is reflective of the purpose of the project. Then, capture background information. Summarize the contents of the project, including the problem or opportunity that led to the initiation of the project. Include relevant history. Please, I don't want noise within the background because we are recording this video. If I mute you the first time, the second time I will remove you. That is how I behave. So, we're talking about capturing background information. And we say summarize the contents of the project, including the problem or opportunity that led to the initiation of the project, include relevant history, business environment, and why the project is necessary at that point in time. Thirdly, state the project objective. After simple background information, this will form like introduction or a kind of high-level executive summary. Then the third one is to state the key objectives. We already know how to use to state objective. Have we talked about, no, it's not you people, but we're going to talk about it. SMART. We are going to use SMART method to be able to capture the objective. We'll talk about SMART method later. So here we identify the specific, measurable goals the project intends to achieve. This should be aligned with business objective and address the need identified in the background. And third and fourth, define the scope. It's very, very important that the scope. Some of all these things is already captured in the, not all, some of them, all of them must have been captured in the project charter. So if you have had a good project charter, like when we are discussing about project charter, we say that a project charter is not a must, but as a smart project manager, you must make sure that your project have got a project charter, because that is what is giving you authority. If anything happen and you go to court, you receive an authority to become a project manager. But if something happen and you went to court and you don't have a project charter, you do not have anything authorizing you to become a project charter. That is why when you are creating a project charter, you are doing yourself a favor. You are not actually doing the company or anybody a favor, because what they want is let their problem be solved. That is their main goal. But you as a project man, you must follow the best practice equally to make sure that your project comes out very fine. Coming out very fine is going to increase your portfolio, your personality, your prestige, and equally protecting you. You have to protect you. So the point I'm making here is that the project scope must be captured, even the objective must be captured in the project charter. So, but here you must have to be more detailed, a bit more detailed in defining your project charter, unlike in project brief, unlike in project charter that captures everything in high level. So clearly outline what is included in the project and just as important what is out of scope, what is not included. This prevents project scope creep and ensure that all parties understand the project boundaries. It's very important when everybody understands the project boundaries, then everybody will be able to respect one another. If you have a country, two countries that don't understand their boundary, they always be fighting. But when there is a clear description of a boundary between the United Kingdom and France, you see, because they have clear boundary, they can never fight. They know their boundaries, you know. So it's very, very important. That is scope. Scope is not only what you need to do, but it must equally mention what you don't need to do as well. You know, related areas that you must not cross. Because why you should identify such areas within the boundary that you will not cross, because these are something you can easily, you know, not knowing, you just cross without doing that intentionally. So it's good to identify out of boundaries as well. Identify stakeholders. List all key stakeholders involved in this project, including the internal stakeholders and external stakeholders. So at this point, you must have done stakeholder analysis to understand their stakeholders. This is why it's very, very important to do stakeholder analysis, understand their stakeholders at early stage. So list all the stakeholders, try to understand internal and external stakeholders within the project. Internal stakeholders are project management, project team, marketing, operation. External stakeholders can be customers, suppliers, regulators. Regulators are people like local government authority, state authority, or even federal authority, you know, regulatory bodies, health and safety officers, data protection agencies. These are external stakeholders that might affect you. So you must understand all the stakeholders. List the project deliverable. Detail the tangible and intangible outcome that project will produce. Break this down into key milestones or phases to track progress over a period of time. So you need to be tracking your progress. Set the project timeline. You must have a timeline. At this point, you are not going to your team to tell them when you are going to your team to kickstart a project, like what we call project kickoff meeting, you have team members by then, maybe the business analysts you are working with, or developers or engineers. You need to tell them when is this project is starting and when this project is expected to end. So provide rough timeline for the project, including key milestone and estimated duration. Depending on the complexity, it may involve weeks or months with high level, but at this point, you must have a timeline. Determine the budget at this point. At this stage, the budget might be a rough estimate because while working on your project plan, breaking them down, you might understand the real budget for the project. But you must have an estimated budget or use a placeholder, but there must be estimated budget. That is rough budget. It's important to define it and determine later if you have more, but at this point, have a budget. Include major cost categories like, for instance, marketing, logistics. Try to capture as many as you possible at this point, but know that by the time you are breaking them down, the real cost of the project might start coming out as you are breaking things down. But it's good to have a very good high-level estimate to work with at this point. Assess risk and constraints. Identify potential risk. Every project at the beginning, as the project manager, you must be able to identify potential risks. You have not even started a project, but you know potential risks. So identify potential risks or challenges that could impact the project. This could include resource availability, market acceptance, technological hurdle, or regulatory compliance. These are where risk might start coming out or emanating from. So you must identify these areas. Also maintain an external dependencies, constraints such as legal regulation, vendor availability, and time constraints. All these, this is areas you've not started, but with your experience, you know that this is where the risk lies. So you have to uncover all of them and capture them as part of your project brief. Define success factor. What does success look like? If we, from day one, you must know what success looks like. You cannot say no assumption. You must have a picture of what success looks like when you deliver this project, because you must have gone through the problem statement, understanding their problems. They have a problems and what they want to achieve, looking at the objective, looking at the problem statement and the objective. You should know the outcome, what they are looking for. So list the critical success factors that will indicate whether the project has achieved its objective. This should be measurable, such as customer satisfaction, on-time delivery, or revenue generation. You must have success factors. So these are step by step. You follow this step, then let's look at key elements. These key elements will just be a high level of this step by step. So that is it. This is what I've discussed earlier. This is, in a summary, this is the key element you must capture. You must capture these 10 key elements we've described. This is a summary of these step-by-step activities. So once you capture these key elements, then what is it? You can see the project, creating a project brief is not difficult. It's because we don't know how to do it. But looking at this picture, you yourself, as you are sitting there now, you see, oh, I can do this. Yes, I can do this. But if you don't tell you the step by step, you might not. So that's why with this, very soon we dive in and start creating our own. It is very important to have a project brief. Why? Number one is alignment. It ensures that all stakeholders are aligned on the project goals and expectation. Clarity. Number two, provide a clear understanding of the project objective, scope, and deliverable. And number three, reference point. Act as a reference document through out the project life cycle, especially during planning. This will help you to plan very well. The project charter is a high-level document authorizing you, but it's high level. What do we mean by high level? Is at a very high level, it's chunky, it's not breaking down. But this is a more broken, this is in a more detailed, low-level details that will give you, capture almost everything. With this project brief, you can use it to create a work breakdown structure. This will help you to create a work breakdown structure, which is going to be our topic for tomorrow. So now we've seen key elements and step-by-step on creating a project brief. Let's look at an example of a project brief. This is a project brief for Food Traco expansion project. Okay. You can see here, we just applied what we've just discussed. You see the project title is Expansion of Food Traco Multi-Vendor Food and Grocery Platform. That is the title. Project background. Food Traco is a successful multi-vendor food and grocery delivery platform currently operating in Rivers State in Nigeria. To capitalize on the growing demand for convenient food and grocery delivery service, the company seeks to expand its operation to additional states in Nigeria. That is the background of this project now. So you see, the title is now, you can see that they quite align with the background introduction. Okay, what are the objectives? Expand Food Traco market presence by entering 3 or more states within 2 months period. Increase the number of registered vendors by 25% in the new location. You can see that we applied SMART. We're going to discuss SMART very soon. So you can see everything in this objective is measurable, is specific and measurable. Here, within, we say enter 3 states within 2 months. It's quite specific. They have a target, 3 new states in 2 months. Okay. Increase the number of registered by 25%. They didn't just say increase the number of vendors. They said, so when you reach 25%, that is going to be measurable objective. This measurable objective, you see. And then in the first objective, they didn't just say expand their market presence in the rest or in Nigeria. They said 3 new states. That is quite specific. And they say this must be achieved within 2 months period. That is very specific. And again, in the objective, you see, achieve 15%. You see, is measurable, 15% market share in each new state within 6 months of launch is So these are what we call, and again, enhance brand awareness through target market. Everything here is either measurable, or objective, or relevant, or realistic. You see it? That is how an objective should look like. Good. Let's crack on. Then scope here. When we say scope, you see that in their scope, they included what is included and what is excluded. So in scope and out of scope. Okay, let's look at in scope, what is included. Market research, vendor registration, marketing campaign, logistics setup, and platform localization for the new state. So this is what is included. You can see all these deliverables are what is included. And then they want to tell you out of scope. While trying to expand, don't expand to international markets. It's out of scope. Because if it's not identified like this, before you know it, some will start registering, have some vendors in UK, they say they want to be part of Food Tracker, you start registering people in UK. I have other people in America, everybody is rushing us. They start registering people in America, but the company have a plan. Maybe at this point is not their time. They want to capture Nigeria before capturing international. Maybe they have, so, and they don't have resources, enough resources to capture international market. Not that international market is not good. And then physical storefronts. So maybe the vendors they are looking at are not physical storefront. They don't want physical storefront. Maybe they are just looking for, cloud kitchen, not physical storefront. So you see what is captured here out of scope. So while trying to expand, so that instead of you wasting your resources and trying to capture international markets, just work within the 3 states they are within, so that you can deliver a quality project outcome. This is good to have, but as you can see at this moment, is out of scope. Don't dive in there. So that is how it should be. Okay. Then at this point, you must state the stakeholders included in this project. Avoid sending information.
What about what's there?
Anastasia, do you want us to know that you are here?
Shy.
So I wonder how some people will join and leave this into their children to be playing about. That is unprofessional. All of us have children. I have 4 kids. When I'm teaching, they don't come around disturbing you people. So when I'm teaching, don't bring your children to, I appreciate children a lot, but there is time for everything. How many times have you come here, see me teaching, and you see me struggling with my devices, with my children? My children are very active as well. Okay. Then let's look at stakeholders. Looking at the stakeholders here, you see project sponsor, Food Tracker management team, you see the project manager, you see the marketing team, you see logistic team, you see IT team, you see vendors, you see customers. These are stakeholders captured very well. Then you see deliverables, you see market analysis reports for each new state, list of registered vendors and their profiles, marketing material, digital ad flyers. You see updated platform features tailored to local reference and a launch date for the new state. These are deliverables. Then you see timeline. Within timeline, projects to start within so time, and the duration is 2 months. And you see a breakdown of what to achieve. On week 1 to week 2, you see what you want to achieve. On week 3 to week 4, this is what you want to achieve. You don't even have a work breakdown structure, but somebody looking at this project brief understand how you plan to do this, you know? Okay. Then you see budget. Here to be decided on the detailed estimates of the marketing, logistics, and operational costs. So you have to, at this point, you've not captured what you are working on estimate, because you're already trying to estimate the marketing, logistics. So, but it's equally good to put a high level budget if you can. But it's better to use, if instead of putting a misleading budget, the risk. Some of the risk, market acceptance, new customers may not respond positively to the platform. Yeah, so that you won't go and become demoralized, because these are some of the risks. Once you capture some of these, you start mitigating it, even being proactive. Vendor recruitment, difficulty in signing up enough local vendors. You might face such challenges. So you know that something you have to start working on how to solve this problem. Logistic challenge, issues with delivery operation within the new area, regulatory compliance, ensuring that there's adherence to local regulation. And then you see that at the end of the project brief, we captured success factor: successful vendor registration and onboarding, positive customer feedback and engaging metrics post-launch, achievement of sales targets. So all the sales targets within the first month, we achieved it. Effective execution of marketing campaign leading to brand awareness. So looking at something like this, you see a very good crafted project brief. So that is a project brief, and that's it. It's not so difficult if you understand it. So that is a project brief for us. And lastly, our discussion questions on project brief. Why is it important to clearly define the project scope in the project brief? And how can unclear scope lead to failure? Can you give example from your own experience or industry cases? Number 2, what are potential challenges in identifying and managing stakeholders in a project brief? And how can a project manager ensure that all key stakeholders are effectively engaged throughout the project? In what ways can the success factors outlined in the project brief influence the overall project management approach, and how should this factor be aligned with the project objectives to ensure project success? So this is what we need to go and brainstorm on within this project brief. And as usual, we need to capture this and post them in our group, Facebook group. As usual, I need to capture this so that we have something to work on. So I will provide my own feedback on the last activity so that we see my own, and I try to give time so everybody will submit. Now we have another activity. If you have not submitted the other one, you know that once I finish, I'll try as much as I can to have a look and provide feedback. So, but you know that it's building up. We have to be taxing our brain every time we engage. So it's very, very important for me and for you as well. So if you have any question on this project brief, I'm ready to collaborate with you at this point.
Okay.
Hang on. You raise your hand and we'll take it one after the other. So, Comfort, are you the person that tried to speak up?
It was me, Former, not Comfort.
Okay, then wait for your turn. Emebo Anastasia, Anastina, you are the one that is your children disturbing the class. I will not take that from you next time. But you can ask your question. Okay, Ifeanyi Chisom. Rauta Gabadi.
Yes. Thank you, sir. So my question is regarding under this project brief, you talked about budgeting and managing stakeholders. So I wanted to know, in creating the budget and determining fees for the project manager, is it usually a percentage of the project sum? And when you bring in other stakeholders like professionals to do budgeting, how do you determine their fees? Thank you.
Their fees.
Yes.
What do you mean by their fees?
Like, payment, what you're going to pay them. Because I know that
you are not the person. You are not the person deciding what to pay. I think most cases is the human resources determine at times the market, but we have estimated what cost of what they call it, business. The key people that is required in this project. So at times you are not the one that hires team members. At times the team members have constituted the team members already. At times, they might want you to make input in hiring these team members. So, but it's not going to be your effort. It's going to be a meeting with the stakeholders. So if the stakeholders is not like, let's say this project brief is not created already. If they've created this project brief, they must have listed people that are going to work on that, and with that, they must have had a budget for you to work on. All you need is to work within the budget. Like you said, that at times the project brief is already created. But if you are part of the people, if you have opportunity to be part of the people to create this project brief, then it's going to be a brainstorming effort between you, the management, or whoever they think relevant to be part. The project sponsor have upper hand at this point, because the project sponsor knows how much they are ready to spend. So everything boils down on the project sponsor. So you cannot create, but if they give you a blank, if they ask you to do everything, good and fine, but I know they cannot do that.
Okay. How about your own fees as a project manager?
Yeah, what?
How about your own payments? How do you charge your clients as a project manager?
How you charge client as a project manager?
Yes.
Client.
Yes. So if, for example, someone has invited me to come be a project manager on a certain project for their company, I'm coming in as an external professional. So how do I charge them? Is it a percentage of the entire budget fee, or do project managers have like
They know how much they want to pay you. It's just like every other job we are applying, you already see how much they are going to pay. Have you not applied for a job before?
Yes, I have. I'm not talking about a project manager that is on the employment of a company. I mean, like, the way you would hire me, like as an external professional. I'm running my own firm, and you just invite me to manage a certain project for you. Just like the way you bring in an architect to do a building for you, and he give
That
you
is how much they want to pay for the project manager. They have budget they want to pay, whether you are coming as a consultant. A project manager is a project manager. Whether you are a firm, you are coming as a firm, or you have a role to play. There's nothing like you are a firm. It's a project manager they are looking for. If your company is supplying a project manager for that role, they have a budget for that role. So there's nothing like percentage.
Okay.
So a project manager is a project manager. We have Accenture, we have, I've worked with Accenture, I've worked with a lot of all these people, which they are work with their professionals. They are not coming there as Accenture, as a company. They send their either project managers, or they send their business analysts, and they know how much they are paying their business analysts. Company will tell you how much they are going to pay. So they supply whoever they are supplying them, they know how much they are paying them. Company have budgets, or how much they want to pay for the project. So if you like it, you apply. If you don't like, you don't apply. If you're doing the job, you can have your bargaining power and say, because of my experience, but there's nothing like you are a consultant. A project manager, after this boot camp, you are a consultant. Everybody working with capacity as a project manager, is a consultant. What is consultancy? A business analyst is a consultant. A project manager is a consultant. There's nothing like you're a consultant and your company, you are not a project manager. Okay, what are you consulting for? If you're not a project manager or a business analyst, what kind of consultancy are you then rendering? Are you on track with me?
Yes, I am. I am. Thank you.
All right. Where are we? Providence is
Yes.
Is
Good evening, Mr.
okay.
Charles. Can you hear me, please?
Yes.
Okay, so I have a question. Let me say you're a project manager who has been working on maybe a construction project or maybe
Is it a
financial.
wait? Is there a question based on this project?
Yes, it is. It
Okay.
is. And maybe a company invites you to work on something like a blockchain project, and you want to create a project brief, but you don't have like ideas of how the the milestones should be, how to put them. That's for the timeline. How do you go about that?
Then you ask question. That's what called requirement gathering. You asking question of who tell you that a project manager knows everything, and who tell you that a business analyst knows everything. What is requirement gathering? Why do you have to identify stakeholders? Why are you engaging them if you already know everything? You engage them to understand what they want to do, and you all this thing is application. You apply this project brief is a framework. So you apply it. I show you step by step. At every stage, you ask a question. That's why you have to flow it step by. I made it very easy for you. At step one, if you don't know what is blockchain, you ask question, you understand the problem, you craft the name. You come to step two. You have key element. On each key element, you ask questions surrounding that, applying it. That's why I use full tracker. So you don't know. So like for instance, some of you are now, I ask you to create a project brief for food tracker. Are you in food industry before? You are not in food industry. What do? You go out and make research. Or do you think you just sit down, information will be falling, and they will be paying you £600, £500 every day for what? You have to do the job. So
Okay, thank you so much.
you have to ask questions. What you don't know, you ask question, and you make research as well. If you see a company is within blockchain, then you have to go. If their problem is within blockchain, then you have to go. If you don't know blockchain before, there is a lot of resources about blockchain. You go and read them up and understand the industry, the market they are operating, and look at various problems that exist within the market. Even if it's not affecting them, try to have background knowledge about the industry where the project is within. We'll talk about this market analysis. Have we not? We'll say something before we get to where we are. Have we not?
Have.
I'm asking the class, have we not talked about
We,
a personal analysis?
No,
we have. We did briefly.
Good. Briefly.
we have not.
We haven't. We haven't.
Okay.
Probably said it in passive, but we haven't.
So
We
what
have
are
not.
okay. We'll capture those things then. But the point here is that we need to ask questions. So, okay. Let's Chioma Achima Onye Nna. Okay, Chima is not here. African Arena Market.
Good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me, please?
So I wonder, how do we know whom we are talking to? Because we want to personalize what we're saying. Is your name African Arena Market?
No, that's my business name. My name is Cynthia, and when next I log in, I'm going to change it to the correct one.
You want to know the name you use for the boot camp with
All right, sir.
business name.
I will correct that, sir. But can I still go ahead?
Sure.
Okay, my name is Cynthia. My question is this. When you have a project briefing and you do the scoping, is it a good practice to get a sign off on that scope? Because
Please,
yeah.
Paula G, if you are not speaking, stop disturbing. I will throw you out, please. If you are disturbing the class, you are causing confusion here. I'm not going to take it. I've asked us to, if you have children, try to be in control of your children. All of us here have children, and you are not seeing. If I'm here dragging my mouse, dragging my this thing with my children, are you going to be happy? You are not. Carry on, African market.
Yes, sir. I said, is it a good practice to have a sign off on the project scope so that to see if you can accommodate new additional requirements? So say, for instance, you have a project briefing which you have identified the scope, like in the example you gave about what is excluded. Your excluded is international rollout. Now, if in the course of the project there is a requirement, are there conditions where you can accommodate, let me say, minor requirements, or you just have to rescope and redo? What is the best practice, sir?
There is nothing like minor requirements.
Okay, sir.
When stakeholders, like in this particular, we say out of scope, and tomorrow when the project started, this out of scope, the project sponsor want to make it in scope. You know that the budget captured in that project and the timeline did not capture international markets. All you need to do is, we are coming to that, we will have time, specific lessons for all this, but for the sake of your question, you do feasibility studies, do the impact assessment of what they're asking you to do. Before you do that, you need to refer them to project charter, letting them to know that what they're asking you to do is out of scope. But if they want it to be captured, then both the project charter need to be revisited. Everything need to be revisited. You need to tell them, because eventually they need to add extra time. They need to add extra budget in order to capture that requirement, because a requirement is more money, more job. So it's simple. If they can address the issue, why not capture it? You capture it because that is what they employ you to do. But the only thing is that you have to apply the best practice, not just because they are project sponsor or because you are looking for a job, they ask you to do what you are not supposed to do. You just capture it without capturing it well. If you capture it, if you turn that out of scope to be in scope without any additional budget, you are on scope creep. And you are going to go out of budget, and you are going to go above your timeline, and you are going to become a bad project manager.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. This class, once is because of time, we already exceeded our time, and we're not going to be answering every question, So I'm looking at, we're supposed to end by 9, half 9. So if you have something important, you can leave. Let me just capture a few more people, but we are already exhausted our time. Okay, Isaac Usanga.
Isaac,
sorry.
thank you. Okay,
Yeah.
Mr. Charles, under the success factors, you mentioned that we need to define measurable success factors. Now, my issue is on that measurability. If you take, for example, in some organizations like banks, you have the marketers and maybe the customer services personnel. Now, the marketers would have clearly defined targets. For example, bring 1 billion naira within 1 week. But the customer service people are strictly on customer service satisfaction. So how will you measure customer service satisfaction?
Well, that will be answered by the business analyst. So what your own is, as a project manager, you see what they ask you to achieve. So the analysis, what you are asking here is business analysis. We are here to get to business analysis. So how to reconcile the 1 billion and the customer satisfaction? The one business analyst carry out the business analysis part of it, you will be able to tell you whether it's feasible or it's not feasible. You know, but when the business analyst must have done the analysis and show how visibility it is to capture 1 million and the customers will still be happy, then how can you, a project manager, say that it's not going to be possible? Because the business analyst will state how it's going to be achieved. Are you getting me?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Okay, so it's the business analyst that will state. There is, before the project starts, a business analyst must have done analysis to show that whatever is going to be done is achievable. You know, is achievable and is feasible and is what other words I want to use? You know, is not that the gain we call it the profit is higher than the cost.
Okay.
So that is what I'm trying to say.
Profitable.
Yeah, it's profitable. It's not profitable.
What's
Is good.
benefit?
Yes, it's not. There's exact word for it, but it escaped my mind. So
Cost benefit analysis.
Net profit is that what
no. There's one single word we use to do that. When I remember it, I will use it. But everything you people said are right, but I'm looking for a particular word to summarize everything you said. So the business analyst must have done the feasibility studies and make sure that, yes, it can be done. And the gain there outweigh the cost, the profit. So your own as a project manager is to make sure that you follow the plan. You know, so you follow the plan, and during the execution, the business analyst will be there even to create the plan on how to, you know, during the planning, the business analyst will be there. That is call it solution design. The business analyst will design the solution or everything, how it's going to be. A business analyst is a very powerful person within the project. So all the analysis that is not possible is not you, a project manager, that will say that is not possible. It's the business analyst. Your own is to make sure that it's whatever you've agreed, you plan it within the budget and make sure that it's delivered. You know, that is how it is. So some of all these banks, all these the banks, only the banks cannot just tell you to do this without doing proper feasibility studies or proper analysis before asking you to do that.
Right, sir. The word you were looking for, is it cost effective?
It's cost effective, but it's not. Because I know cost benefit analysis. The word I'm using is viable.
Viable.
You know, viability. Making sure viability covers everything, summarizes everything we're saying. You know, the purpose of project business case is to justify the viability of a project. And the business analyst must, all the analysis, the business analysis doing is to justify the viability. That is the word I'm using, viability. Viability means that there is gain. The profit outweighs the cost. The profit is bigger than the cost. Is achievable, is attainable, is profitable. That is viability. So that is not your though you have to work with business analysts, you have a say, but a business analyst, mind you, in so many projects, a business analyst has been there before you as a project manager, you know, to analyze. Is after the so many cases, business analysts will do the analysis and create a business case. Business case is making a case that this project, that this solution will take care of these challenges. This solution will create opportunities. And once the management is okay, we are accepting this your solution. Then the next thing is to create a project charter. And then the project charter is then when they are going to appoint a project manager to start implementing that solution. And the business analyst will be there to make sure that they execute the solution very well. So that's it, Mr. Isaac.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome. I have Emebo, your hands have been up, and I'm going to, so that it won't be confusing, I will lower your hand. Abu Magdalene, once it's 10 p.m., we stop.
Okay, good evening, sir. Thank you for the time. My question is, in for the project brief, is it necessary that one must put it in a table form, or it can come like this, like the way you just taught us this evening?
Did I say you must put a project brief in our presentation tonight? Did we say anything about table?
No, what I mean is, like, can someone
You said
decide to?
is it a must we are going to put it in a table form?
No, I say, is it necessary that when somebody wants to, draft out a project brief, that can someone put it in a tabular form, or it can be like the way you taught us?
Anyhow you want to put it, there is no format. The format, you see key element, I said, capture those key elements. Even if you use table and you did not capture the key elements, you are missing. Capture those key information you want to address. The format you use doesn't matter. The quality of your work is not does not come in. The content, what is contained within the project brief is what we are looking for, not the way it is structured. But if it's structured very well, good and fine. I know that it can be put in a table. When I created it in a very simple way, I can create it in a table. I can, anyhow I want to create it, but the point here is that key element I created step by step, and I equally summarized it. So let's hear from Ifeanyi Chisom. Okay, let's hear from Ngozi.
Sorry, good evening, Mr. Charles. I was trying to unmute myself. Okay, my question is the first one is, I already had a little knowledge about business requirements, the documents. So from what you explained today about project brief is a little bit confusing. So I'm feeling like the two is important for a project to be successful. So I want to know what's the difference between project brief and business requirements documents. Secondly, is it the duty of a project manager to prepare business requirements documents?
Project manager to prepare business requirement document. Project business requirement document. Who captures? We've not done business analysis, and some of you are jumping on, or maybe business requirement is captured by a business analyst, and it can be in a different. You have technical business requirements, and you have non-technical. We have so we have business requirements and we have technical requirements. So business requirement documents is being captured by the business analyst. That is the business requirement. That is what you do when you go out for business requirement gathering. You engage stakeholders. So the project manager doesn't, only if you are working as a hybrid, you are working as a project manager and as a business analyst. That's when you start capturing. But it's the duty of the business analyst to capture business requirements and create business documentation. After requirement gathering, you do requirement documentation. And that is when it becomes requirement business document. You equally go forward to refine it, to do requirement analysis. You keep on refining them, business requirements. So try to understand the duty of a project manager. You are mixing up the documents. At this point, the project brief is what they give the project manager to start a project. They are briefing the project manager on what they want the project manager to do. Are you getting the point here?
Yes, sir.
And we stated that who is have the responsibility to create project brief. We say that is the project manager, project sponsor, business analyst can equally contribute. Other business leaders, management team can equally contribute in creating it. But that document is to help the project manager to get started. Are you clear now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Because of time, when we capture Ngozi, because you see so many hands up, and we see our time is limited. So we have Ngozi E. So once Ngozi is done, you see it's 10 p.m. Once Ngozi is done, then we'll call it a night. Okay, Ngozi is not ready. Let's take another person in replacement. We'll have Christian Wokage.
Okay, good evening, Mr. Charles.
I'm here,
evening,
sir.
colleague.
I'm here, sir.
Please,
here, sir.
Ngozi,
Sorry.
we have overruled you because if you
I
will...
was trying to unmute myself, sir. I'm sorry, sir. Sorry, I've been here all this while. I was trying to unmute myself.
Okay.
Can I go on?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Charles, thank you for the training. I want to put my question this way. You once said that Nigeria is a project, right? And because they've not engaged a project manager, that's why most of the works, they are left behind or uncompleted. So I want to put this in this way: if Nigeria engages Digitech to come and manage its project, and you as a project manager, are you going to charge Nigeria as an organization based on the normal amount they pay their project manager, or will you give them your own fee? That's my question.
If Nigeria want to, everybody will have your price tag. As a project manager, I've gone for so many interviews, and they ask me how much do I want to charge, and I'll tell them how much I want them to pay me. They will equally have their own price. So it's a by equal, I've said it's bargaining power. Based on your experience, you can tell how much. If they say they are going to pay you £50,000 per annum, you tell them that no, you can only take £60,000 per annum. All of us know this. This is what is a common knowledge in the industry. So what are you? I don't understand if I'm going to charge them. Whether it's a country or is any, you have a price tag as a project manager. You know, it depends on the project Nigeria want you to do. If Nigeria wants you to manage their project as a president, then you know how much you are going to charge them based on the kind of work they want you to do for them.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. I'm cleared now. Thank you, sir.
So you have a price tag. You, as a project manager, you know how much you want, but we have industrial knowledge of what you based on your experience, level of experience. If you have 2 years experience, you cannot go and be claiming they have to pay you 80,000 because you have to justify why they should pay you that amount of money. If you say you have 10 years of work experience, you have to state all the companies you have worked for the last 10 years as a project manager, and then provide references where they are going to ask those companies if you work for them within that period of time, and that companies will respond that at this point in time, you've worked with them in the capacity of a project manager. That will validate all your claim. And when you say, pay me this amount of money because I watch it, they will pay you. But when you come because you finish this boot camp, you say, I'm a project manager. What have you done? So, okay. Christian.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. Christian, because we've called you to speak, we'll give you the opportunity.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Charles. Good evening and good evening, colleagues.
Yeah.
Please, my question is on scope and scope creep.
Okay.
At times, I keep on reading from the platform where people are actually saying that when there is a scope creep, there's no point, adding that to the project. What of a situation where that creeping into the scope is a very necessary thing? I understand that this building, the Burj Khalifa, was designed by an architect who equally doubled as a project manager. But somewhere along the line, they now discovered that there's a kind of storm that used to disturb that area once in a very long while. And they omitted the thing in the course of designing the project. Is it not going to amount to, in a situation like that, is it not going to amount to rewriting the project charter to make this necessary inclusion?
Well, if you understand what we're saying here very well, what we said is respecting your project, whether it's important, it can be very important, but it's not captured. no matter how important it is and is not captured, is a scope creep. And as a project manager, you have to desist from that. No matter how you think, you see, these are some of the mistakes we are making. We think that is good. You cannot think for them. Don't think for them. As long as it's not in the project charter, don't capture it. If they want to capture it, let them make provision for it and you capture it. Scope creep is when you start doing what is not in your project scope. No matter how good it is and is not within your project scope, is a scope creep and is a gross misconduct in project management. So if you feel that that requirement is good, suggest it for the management. If they like it, they can say, okay, we want to capture it, make provision for it, make additional budget, then once it's done, then update the project charter, update all the relevant documents to capture it, rebaseline your project plan to capture it. But if you, as a project manager, you start quoting theories, nobody on your own. We have principles, guidelines that governs project management. What is good for you, when you start your own project, you can do it that way. But when you are working for somebody, you cannot come and tell them because of these theories you are capturing. Nobody, you're on your own.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So thank you, everyone. For those who stayed back, we've gone above our time, but I've already excused us for that. So thank you.
Mr. Charles, I was the first person to speak up when you were asking who was to ask the question.
Wait,
I didn't know when you went down.
You follow the guideline.
I'm not saying I didn't. I heard you when you said.
So why did you jump the queue? You know the way we do things.
No, I didn't jump the queue, Mr.
So
Charles.
if you have raised, if you are the first person to raise your hand, I would have called you.
Okay. So what happened was, you said, oh,
no, you are now gate crashing. What you are doing is gate crashing.
No, because I didn't get because my hand went down
to the project.
Computer thing. And so I never got the opportunity.
Support personnel.
So
it's not in the scope.
Okay. Are we because of I will allow you to get crashed for tonight, but if next time if you want to speak in my class, you have to raise your hand. We don't jump queue. I don't like people jumping queues. Is a serious offense.
And they might add to the timeline of this project.
You can see.
Okay, Mr. Charles, this is
the stakeholders are already
agitating.
But
no, because the truth of the matter is that
because of my level of influence, I will overrule everybody and take a question.
Thank you, sir.
Is it not a typical example of a scope creep? Scope creep or whatever.
Well, I'm the project sponsor here.
I love you, man. I love you, man. You're awesome.
Okay, bros, hello.
Yeah. So
just please send us the answer to the last question, so you won't forget.
If you are taking time, and time
I want to talk, but everybody just keeps talking. So
okay, go ahead, Ifeoma. You have the floor. Okay, you have been overruled.
Thank you.
Oh, talk now. We are listening.
Talk now.
Oh God. Okay. So I wanted to find out, right? What I read about the project charter, right? I saw the part where it says, oh, that it's going to be written. There's somewhere I read that it's going to be written by the project sponsor, right? But then in the class, if I'm not mistaken, you also said something about the project manager um, in collaboration with the project sponsor who, produce that project charter or something, but still signed off by the project sponsor. So I want to know exactly whose responsibility is that project charter? Who actually does it? Who writes it? Is it the project manager or is it the project sponsor that does it?
If you hear me very well, I said, if you are a project manager and there is a project, because it's within the project charter that they appoint you, it means that you are not the one that is creating that project charter.
Right.
But I say that if you are a smart project manager and there is no project charter, you can make a move to create a project charter in order to protect yourself.
Okay.
Yes, that's what you do.
Yeah, I remember that's what you said, but I was just wondering because I'm like, if it's the project sponsor's responsibility, why are you not doing it? So that's
why are you not doing it?
No, I mean the project sponsor. Why is the project sponsor not doing it?
Because they might not be
That's
aware
why.
of
That's why. If you hear me again, I tell you that some of the project sponsors they don't value some of these documents. What they want is get the job done. They are not so many of them. A project sponsor doesn't mean that the person is a good project manager. It doesn't mean that the person knows project very well. For instance, let me give you an example. A marketing manager who do not have any knowledge of project management might want to implement a CRM system for the marketing department. All he knows is about marketing. Doesn't know anything, but at this point, his department needs CRM system. And he's gone to the top management to secure funding for CRM system. What does he want? He just wants that CRM system to be implemented. He don't want to know the practice or the process you follow he wants the CRM system to be implemented within 6 months so that they will be able to use it to hit their marketing targets.
Right.
So in a situation like this, is this person really interested in project charter?
Actually,
no.
He's not interested in project charter. He just wants to get the job done. He's interested in targets, marketing targets. He's interested in sales targets. They want to hit, maybe they are bankers, they want to hit 1 billion. You knows that this is a wrong way. All you need to do is let them craft a project charter or call a meeting, write a project charter, let them help you document, sign it, make it appoint you officially to become the project manager. Now they've hired you, you are a project manager, they will agree, they even have paid you your first salary as a project manager, but there is no document authorizing you to be a project manager. For instance, if you are working for UK government, or let me give you a critical example in Nigeria, in CBN. The CBN governor, they will tell CBN governor, print more money. The president will say, we need more money. The CBN governor, because he's the presidency, they send money. Get this loan, because he's the presidency, they get loan. At the end of the day, please put yourself on. At the end of the day, are you people not seeing the way they are dragging the CBN governor?
Yes, yes.
Is anybody touching the president?
Yes, yes.
All the atrocities the CBN governor committed, asked him, he didn't do anything on his own, but he did not protect himself.
Yes.
He didn't have any document to protect himself, and he's a big man. He's intelligent. So, you see, if this CBN governor had passed through this boot camp would have advised him. We would have
And I
advised
told
him,
him he refused.
don't listen to the presidency.
I
Anytime
told him he
presidency
refused.
say, do this, let them bring documentation before you can do that.
Exactly.
You know, he's going to prison and nobody is going to stop him from going to prison.
Yes.
He's a rich man before he becomes CBN governor. Now, everything he got as a CBN governor, they've confiscated him. Even the one he got before he becomes CBN governor is gone because of recklessness.
Right.
So you think that project charter is a small document. It's not a small document. You have to protect yourself. Because the president said you jump in. At the end of the day, that is how we are going to manage a project. For so many of us are going to work for so many government organizations. You know, I've got a friend here who worked in rail projects, cross rail. This is big money. And at the end of the day, the project had some issues. Due to some lack of proper documentation, they went to prison. They didn't eat any money. This is taxpayers' money. Who authorizes you to spend this taxpayers' money? What is going to authorize you to spend taxpayers' money is project charter. If you don't have it, because they are paying you, at times you see some job, they will be paying you £700 a day. You jump in, you don't do anything. By the time you go to prison, the kind of prison term you go will be half of the kind of money they paid you.
Okay. Thank you, sir. That's very clear.
All right. So
All right.
thank you guys, and
If only they attended this boot camp.
see you tomorrow.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Mr.
sir.
Charles. Thank you.
Thank
All
you
right.
for the
Thank you,
information.
Mr.
Thank you.
God bless you.